Welcome everyone to the Power Platform Junkies User Group Community Call for the 29th of September. So we missed last week as our bi-weekly call, but we're back again today for the community call. We're going to be having those community calls again next week, which is next week Friday. So we're not skipping a week this time around. And then after that week, we're going to be taking a break from that week, and then we're gonna go back to our bi-weekly schedule. So that's a little bit of that housekeeping rule in terms of when do we start our Power Platform Junkies User Group Community Call and how we get back on schedule. Right, so today we have some amazing speakers and amazing demos that we are going to see, starting off with Safura Motala, who's gonna show us how to build a sales analysis and performance dashboard with Power BI. And then Shaista Ibrahim is gonna show us how to build an inventory management solution with Power Platform, both of which are very important when it comes to an organization, important to a company, and all of those things. So these are really, really great demos to actually look forward to. So hopefully you guys are going to be around for quite a while. Right. So before we get to, there's a few things that we need to speak about. Right. So if you were part of the Power Platform Global AI Hack Together, you will know that it has come to an end. So it ended yesterday on the 28th of September, in which now yesterday was the last day for you to submit your Power Platform AI project if you were part of the Power Platform Global AI Hack Together. And there's some amazing prizes that are going to be won by the winning teams and the winning solutions that they build. And some of the solutions could be similar to the ones that we're talking about today. So again, if you just want to know a little bit more about the hack together around Power Platform and AI, don't hesitate to visit aka.ms/hacktogether/Power Platform-AI, where you'll find all of the info around the hack together and also see and catch up on all of the sessions that were there, some sessions from the program manager for AI Builder and Power Automate, and some of the sessions from the Power Platform Cloud Advocates from Microsoft. So if you want to learn more about that, you can go to that link. But if you were part of the AI Hack Together or Power Platform Hack Together rather, then just know that the last day was yesterday to submit your Power Platform project to stand up on winning a prize. It doesn't stop there. The third thing for our housekeeping for this community is that if you are just starting out with anything that is related with Copilot within the Power Platform and related with AI Builder and the new AI Builder model, create text with GPT using Azure OpenAI service and Power Platform, then you do not necessarily know how to prompt those AI models or prompt Copilot in Power Apps, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agents, and Power Pages, even Power BI, then we have something called the Power Platform Prompt Library, where you can be able to find a few prompts that were created by some of the global Power Platform community members to actually help you to get started with Copilot within the Power Platform. And also now, recently, they just announced a Power Platform Prompt Manager app, which you can be able to download it as a solution for you. And then afterwards, you can actually use it for your organization to actually manage some of the prompts that you are using within your organization or company, so that you can be able to keep track of the few different Copilot prompts that everyone can be able to use within that company and get started with Copilot if it's enabled on your environment. Do note that if you want to catch up on some of the past community calls and the demos that we've had in the past, you can go to the Power Platform Junkies YouTube channel. You'll find all of the recordings that belong to those community calls that we've done the past few weeks. And also just know that if you want to participate in one of those community calls, in which we probably will volunteer you into doing some of the presentations and demos, you can be able to do so by reaching out to Noktula, who's on the call as well, to actually say that you want to be part of the community call and actually demo something that you are learning or that is a solution to a problem that you have found in either your everyday life or your company or your organization. Also note that you don't necessarily have to be an expert, a pro, where you think that if you want to come to this community calls, you have to be building a time machine or something as cool as that using the Power Platform. No, anything basic, anything that solves your problem, even if it's just a one-screen app, but it solves your problem, you can actually come and do your presentation on the community calls and actually showcase your demo, even if it's as simple as something that you were just learning and you wanted to share with the rest of the community. So those are the few housekeeping things that we wanted to take care of. Now you will know that we actually have our first presentation with Safura. So Safura is going to take us through how to build a sales analysis and performance dashboard with Power BI. So Safura, I just want to give the reins over to you so that you can be able to get started with your demo. You can start by sharing your screen.
Hi everyone, thanks Samaleze for the introduction. So today I'll be doing a sales. Okay. So today I'll be doing a sales analysis and performance dashboard with Power BI. So the real question is, what is a sales analysis dashboard? A sales analysis dashboard is a visual representation of sales data and performance metrics. It is designed to provide an overview of a business sales activities. It typically includes different visualizations that display information on sales data. Such dashboards are essential for any business because it offers critical insight into sales performance, helping businesses make informed decisions. A sales dashboard empowers organizations to optimize sales strategies, allocate resources efficiently, and ultimately drive revenue growth. So this is an example of a sales dashboard. So the problem that many businesses face is the data volume and complexity of data. Like there's a lot of data. So the main problem it will address is to gain insights into sales performance and profitability in the retail beverage industry. So the main aims that this dashboard will address is the first one is which retailers are top performers in terms of total sales and profitability, and how sales vary across different regions and states. And lastly, what is the most popular beverage brand among customers? And my solution to this is creating an interactive Power BI dashboard. The dashboard will include various visualizations, and the datasets that I will be using for this demonstration was taken from Kaggle. It contains clean data with sales information. Okay, so let's get started. In order to create this dashboard, you have to go onto Power BI desktop, and in order to import data into Power BI, you either click on Get Data and connect to different data sources. And for the demonstration of this, I'll be using an Excel workbook. So you just choose your data set and wait for it to connect to your data set. The reason I'm using Excel as Excel workbook for this is because Excel provides a high degree of flexibility for your data analysis and manipulation. So yeah, this might take a bit, so just wait for it. Okay, so here is the data. This is the Excel file. So let's say, for example, you have your data is unclean and you want to clean it, like there's null values or errors. You can click on transform data. It will take you to Power Query where you can clean your data or add more columns. For this demonstration, there are the data set is clean, so we don't have to do all of that. So we just load the data. This will take a while. Okay. So here is your data from the Excel file. So in order for us to build an interactive dashboard, we need to understand which visuals to choose. So for the first visual that I'll be using is a slicer, which is also a filter that allows users to segment the data by a specific value. So I will be filtering by specific quarter. So in order to filter by quarter, I can just drag quarter and place it on the field. And just wait for Power BI to do its thing. So I don't want it to show as like these checkboxes. What I can do is go under Format Your Visual and Slicer Settings, change this to a tile. Right. And the next visual is also a slicer, but this time I'm going to filter by month. We want to see the total sales by month. So just drag and drop it on the field. Change the style to a tile. And kind of just align it wherever you want. Okay, and the other one will also be a slicer for a specific region. We'll also do another one for beverage brand, filter by beverage brand. Let's make this a drop down. Okay. And the final slicer will be by retailer. Changed format to a tile. Okay, let's change the background of this canvas. You click on Format Your Report, and then under that you go to Canvas Background and the color. I'll just choose blue. And decrease the transparency. Okay. Okay. The next visual that I'll use is a card visual. So a card visual will help us display the key summary metrics like your total sales, your operating profit, your operating margin. So these KPIs are really important for like your stakeholders if they want to invest in your company. They want to see how your business is performing, like the total sales, the amount of profit that you're making. So, which is why I chose this one to display this. Total sales. Let's do more for just copy this and paste. So we want sum of total sales and sum of units sold. So under the field, you can just drag units sold, and we also want to see the sum of operating profit. Just drag and drop it on the field. And for the last one, the operating margin, I don't want the sum, so I want to see the average operating margin as a percentage. So in order to show a percentage, you can just click on operating margin and click on percentage at the top. The third visual that I'll use that I think will be appropriate will be a stack column chart. So a stack column chart will help us identify the top performing retailers So we want to display the sum of total sales by month. Okay. So on the x-axis, you can just drag month, and on the y-axis, have the sum of total sales. So here's your graph. For the next, I'll want to display the sum of total sales by retailer. For that, I'll use a stacked bar chart. Sum of total sales by retailer. You just drag the retailer onto the y-axis and the total sales onto the x-axis. And Power BI will do the graph for you. The next one will be to display the sum of units sold by beverage brand. I'll use a pie chart. The pie chart will help us see which brands are like most popular or contribute most to the total sales of the business. So the legend field is typically it represents the categorical data that defines groups or categories in a chart. So for this, the legend field, you have you're going to put the beverage brand because it represents a group of beverage brands. And for values, the field value, you have to put like numerical data. So in this case, it's units sold. So here's a graph. Now I want to display the sum of units sold by city. For this, I can use a tree map. A tree map helps us see which categories contribute to the most to the overall profit. So the sum of units sold by city. For category, we'll choose the city, drag and drop it on category, and for the values, we'll use the units sold. So what you can do here is like filter this into like the top 10, so the top 5 cities. In order to do that, you can click on this drop down here by city, and under filter type, choose top N and write down the number you want to display it with. By value, you just drag the units sold onto by value and apply filter. And here the sum of units sold for the top 5 cities. And the final appropriate visual for this will be a donut chart. So under the legend field, we want to display the total sales by state. So under the legend field, you'll have the state, drag and drop it, and the total sales. Here you can also filter the state by perhaps the top 8 states. Do the same thing, just go under filter type and change that to top N and drag and drop the total sales and apply filter. So yeah, this is your dashboard. You can just align it however you prefer. Okay, so yeah, this is your sales analysis dashboard. Thank you for listening.
Wonderful. That was awesome, amazing, and it was great to actually see how you can be able to build a dashboard in such a short amount of time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Safura, and I think you deserve a round of applause for that. Right, so that was wonderful. You could see how quick and easy it was to actually build a dashboard. And again, to what Safura actually shared during her presentation in the demo, you can actually see that you don't just build a dashboard for no reason. You're building a dashboard to solve a problem or to actually make your life much more easier or your job easier. Either you want to have, you want to be able to read your data in a much more clear sense, and you have a few dashboards or reports that you want to look at and a few visualizations that you look at, then that's how you actually achieve it. So you have to make sure that you have that specific problem in mind. And if you want to get started with Power BI, you can be able to get started with Power BI either by signing up for a developer account, Microsoft 365 developer account. Then after that, you start your free trial with Power BI so that you can be able to play around with it. And again, just like how Safura shared it, you just have to make sure that you have your data set, and your data set is going to be addressing a specific problem that you have and you're building a solution for it. Okay, that was wonderful. I really enjoyed that demo, and I really enjoyed how we can be able to build a dashboard under how many minutes it was? I think 15 minutes. That was great. That was awesome. And then you are going to see it on your screen. So hopefully you see it on the screen. So if you're just starting out with the Power Platform, or you've been using the Power Platform, but now you can see that you have access to Copilot in Power Apps or Power Automate or Power Pages or Power Virtual Agents, even in Power BI, and you just don't know where to start prompting this Copilot, because yes, it's an amazing tool, but if you don't know how to use it and you don't know how to prompt it, then it may be a bit tricky for you to get started with using that that specific AI tool or generative AI model. Right, so we have what we call the Power Platform prompt library, in which I'll put it on the chat right after I share the screen. You can use this Power Platform prompt library to actually use some of the sample prompts that were provided by the global Power Platform community and also by Microsoft, where you can be able to start prompting Copilot or any of the AI models that are available in the Power Platform. So for an example, the one at the top, which is my personal favorite, customer feedback automation. If I want to use Power Automate, but I want to use Copilot in Power Automate, but I want to build a flow that will then gain customer feedback, then this is where I can be able to start taking positive advantage of this specific prompt, which is build a workflow that gets customer feedback from Microsoft Forms and adds the feedback to SharePoint, then send an email follow-up to the submitter, include the text in the body that thanks them for submitting the feedback. So if I can be able to use this specific prompt on my flow or on Power Automate using Copilot, then Copilot will then generate an entire Power Automate flow for me. And then in some cases, if you are interested in image generation using the AI tools that are available to you, then you can also use a Dolly prompt generator. In this case, you can be able to use Dolly. I know there's a custom connector in Power Automate that you can be able to use. And when you are trying to use that custom connector and you want to prompt it to actually generate a specific image for you, or you're just starting out, you can use this prompt, which is the Dolly prompt generator. Or if you want to generate a dummy text, you can use the dummy text generator prompt. And then another personal favorite for me is the email generator. So for an example, I would prompt Copilot or let's say the AI builder model in Power Automate and say, I want you to act as an assistant. I will provide you with a short text and you will generate an email from it. The email should be formatted using HTML and prettified. The company is closed due to bad weather. So this is when, for an example, you have a Power Automate flow that you want to send to people. Let's say, for an example, you trigger it manually and you are using the Create Text with GPT AI model within Power Automate to generate an email that you can be able to just send out to whoever is your customer or to whoever that you want to send it out to using that. So with that, you can be able to use the email generator prompt using Create Text with GPT. And then from there, you can just take it from there and just build your entire workflow, and you'll be able to see that text has been generated for you. Before I carry on and ramble on for long, I just want to check. Shaista, are you ready?
Yes, I will share my screen. Safura will share the PowerPoint. I sent that to her. So.
Okay, awesome. Let's go ahead.
Okay, so we'll get started. Good day, everyone. Today, we'll be diving into the world of inventory management and leveraging the power of the Microsoft Power Platform to streamline this entire process. My presentation revolves around inventory management system, which is using Power Platform. So in the next slide, we will look at the problem statement, which is the problem of inventory management. At many times, we struggle to keep track of inventory levels and reorder points, and this can lead to two critical issues. Overstocking, which happens when a business holds more inventory than it can reasonably sell or use within a specific time frame, and this ties up capital and storage space. There's also stockouts, which is when a business runs out of a product or item that customers want to purchase. In this way, you can lose sales and potential customers. So what's the solution? The next slide. This solution is to create an inventory management app using Power Apps. Let's break it down. The first screen in my app will display all the store's products and their details. You can also add new products to the inventory and edit existing records, making product management a breeze. The second screen will be all about tracking previous transactions. It will also let you add new transactions seamlessly. No more manual record-keeping headaches. In slide 4, we discuss the technology used. And here we use Dataverse, which is the database platform integrated with PowerPlatform. It's perfect for storing and managing all the inventory data. We could also use other platforms such as Excel and SharePoint, amongst others. In the second tech we will use is Power Apps, which will be the tool we use to create our intuitive, user-friendly inventory management system application. Power Automate is the tool that will be used to automate notifying the staff about reorder points. In expanding the application, we will also be able to integrate Power BI, which will take the inventory management to the next level by providing advanced analytics and insights. We can also use Power Automate to automate many of the other tasks that are still manually completed. We will now look at Power Apps, and I will share my screen to look at the application there.
Screen right now. So I'm just going to show you how to access Copilot. So normally when you are on Power Apps or Power Automate, you'll have this little chat box that you can be able to use to build your app using Copilot in Power Apps or Power Automate. Even Power Automate would have a similar thing. And how do you get this? So you probably may be wondering on your environment on how you get access to this thing. And you're saying, Somalis, my Power Apps homepage does not look the same as yours. Yes, the reason is because Copilot is currently mostly available on an environment that is based in the US region. So how do we help you help yourself get Copilot? This is how. So you want to go to your Power Apps homepage or make.powerapps.com or Power Automate. Then you go to the settings gear here at the top. And then you click on Admin Center. And then this will take you to the Power Platform Admin Center. Then what will happen is that you need to go to the environment. So this is the entire admin center. Maybe you're using an organizational account from your organization or institution or company. So you may have limited rights on the admin center. Currently, I'm using my developer account. So you would need to go to environments, and you would see maybe a list of environments. If it's your developer account, maybe you won't see any environment. You will only see the default environment because it's an institutional account. But that's not the whole point of what I'm trying to do here. For you to have your own environment that has Copilot, all you need to do is to actually click on New and then come here, and we can say Somalis Digos. So I'll give it a name. So I'm going to say Somalis Digos environment. And then I will need to change the region instead of being Europe to United States. Not preview United States, but United States. Preview United States just basically gives you the preview features of the Power Platform, but it doesn't have access to Dataverse. So what you would need to do is to just use the United States one, because you need access to Dataverse if you want to use Copilot in the Power Platform. So you choose United States, then you change the type of your environment. Don't choose trial because it'll run out after 30 days, and you can only have 2 or sign up for 2 trial environments in your developer account or any other account that you're using to sign into Power Apps. You can only have either 1 or 2 trial environments in which eventually after 30 days they disappear. So in this case, you would need to choose developer. And then you can either give your environment a purpose. So it's best practice to actually create, to give a purpose for your environment so that you can be able to understand what's going on in that environment. And then there's a little new feature here that says create developer environment for makers and developers in your organization with a dev plan. You can either choose yes, and then everyone in the organization will have this specific environment enabled for them. But you don't want to do that because you don't have access rights to do so. So you leave that toggled off, and then these are grayed out, but they will be automatically automatically be created for you. So it will add a Dataverse data store or a Dataverse database in your environment automatically. So once you click on next, the only thing that you need to do is to choose a currency and a language. So you choose English, United States again, because you want to use Copilot, and Copilot is available mostly in the United States region for data centers. And then you choose your currency, whatever currency you want to use, and make sure that you deploy sample apps in data. Why? Because if you want, for an example, on the Power Apps homepage, you also want to play around with the templates that are available, the app templates that are available in the Power Apps, then you'll be able to have access to those template apps through this option by deploying sample apps and data. And then the last thing that you need to do is to click on save. And then once you've saved it, it'll create your developer account. So I only have a limit of 3 developer environments for a specific user. So I've created 3 developer environments already. So the only thing that I'll need to do now is to just do some cleanup in my tenant. But once you click on save, it'll provision your developer environment. It'll take probably 2-3 minutes. Then after that, it'll deploy the Dataverse database, and then you can go to the Power Apps homepage, refresh the homepage probably like 5 times, and then check on here on environment on if it actually shows up onto your list of environments that are available for your tenant or for your specific account. And then once it's available, you can click and choose that environment, and then you'll be able to use Copilot in Power Apps or Power Automate, depends on you. Okay, another thing that I wanted to showcase to you guys is, so I'm just gonna go back to this tab and go to aka.ms/prompt manager. And then if I hit enter, this will take me to GitHub, where April Dunham, who is a principal cloud advocate at Microsoft, worked with her team and some of the community members of the Global Power Platform team to actually, let me try to do this and showcase all of it. I can see that my screen is a bit cut off there at the bottom, but that's fine. To actually build a prompt management solution. So like I mentioned earlier on, prompt management solution is for whichever organization is trying to use Copilot, use AI builder model, create text with GPT, and it requires prompts, and they have specific prompts that are specific to that organization or institution. They can download this prompt management solution, import it into their environment, and then they can be able to store all of their prompts for the organization without making them public. They will only be available for that specific organization, institution, or company. You can see there for IT, marketing, customer service, sales, and then you can be able to add more prompts in as that company. And then obviously you can see whether you have a title generator using Azure OpenAI service, a regex regular expression generator using Power Apps Copilot, a prompt generator using Azure OpenAI service. So it's available to be downloaded and imported back into your environment whenever you want to have a prompt management solution. And if you want to contribute to this, you can still contribute to it. And you can download this, make a few adjustments, suggest this adjustment, do a pull request on this GitHub repo, and then be able to contribute to the sample that April actually did with the team. You can actually see a few of the key features of the solution being listed out here on GitHub, where you can actually see all of them. So right, that's all that's available to you with prompting, AI, Copilot, and Power Platform, and how you get access to it and how you manage your prompts there. And I will share these links onto the chat so that you can be able to have access to them. So it's a pity we have a few minutes left. I can't show you when we're using this actual prompts in Power Automate. Let's see. We have 3 minutes. Let's see if we can be able to do that in Power Automate and use this specific prompt. Right. Okay. So I'm going to go to my app launcher open Power Automate in a new tab, then go to my prompt library in the meantime, copy this prompt just to show you the prompt library in action or the prompts from the prompt library in action. Go to Power Automate, and hopefully Power Automate will be nice to us and actually open up and we can be able to use it. Right, so I also have Copilot in Power Automate, and then all I have to do is just paste it in, right? So I have all of the prompt. The only thing that I need to do is to remove these brackets here that says end of text. That's just basically giving direction to Copilot as this is where the text starts, where I want to send this information to either SharePoint or Excel or Dataverse, right? So I can change that data source, right? So I'm going to remove start of text as well, and then leave the prompt like this. So it says build a workflow that gets customer feedback from Microsoft Forms, add the feedback to SharePoint, and message the customer with the submitter's name, right? So the next thing is to click on submit. And then what's going to happen is that Copilot in Power Automate will then try to see if it can suggest a flow to you, and then it does. My prompt was saying build a workflow that gets customer feedback from a Microsoft form. So you can see the trigger of the flow is a Microsoft form, and some of the actions are for Microsoft Forms, and then send that data back to SharePoint, which is creating an item in SharePoint, and then send an email to the person who submitted that response on the form. Right, so these are the suggested actions of the suggested flow. I can click on next if I'm happy with that, and then I can set up my connections here, and then I click on create flow, and then it will create the flow for me. And then all I need to do is to just make updates to all of the actions and triggers that are there. So the reason why it says invalid parameters is because it's empty. So I haven't chosen a form that I want to use. So I can choose session feedback, for an example, or Power Platform solution support. And then I choose the same thing here. And then I just configure all of the details. I need a site address, need a list name, and then I want to be able to create all of the information that is coming from my response. So for an example, if I say Digo Demos, which is my SharePoint site, the list name would be probably customer feedback, if I'm not mistaken. I have a SharePoint list there. Then the only thing that I need to do is to just click on show all to see all of my columns in SharePoint. Then you can see there's a title column, there's improved product, there's full name, there's phone number, there's email. If I wanted to use or fill dynamic content for email, all I have to do is hit on my keyboard the /, and then it will ask me, do I want dynamic content or an expression? I can insert dynamic content, and then I can choose dynamic content that is coming from my previous action, which is from the form. So I can choose email, and then it adds in the dynamic content, and then I can do everything, the same thing for each and every single column of my SharePoint list. Then for send an email, all I need to do is specify the email that the email is going to, and then the subject, and then the body, and then I can also use Copilot here on the side to update this flow and the actions in it. But 3 minutes is over for me, so I'm going to stop there. That's just how quickly and simple you can be able to use the prompts that are coming from the prompt library in Power Automate or Power Apps based off of whichever AI Copilot or AI that you want to use with those prompts. So with that, because we're out of time, hopefully we'll see Shaista's presentation and demo next week. So make sure you join this community call next week, same time, same place. You'll have updates that are coming to you on our LinkedIn page, and also you'll have access to this specific recording and the demo that we did today on our YouTube channel, because it'll be available on there. And if you want to sign up to actually be part of the community calls and do your demos as well and be like Shaista and Safura, then you can be able to reach out and tell us that you want to demo whatever you are learning, as simple as it may be, as long as it solves a specific problem. we are more than happy to help. And if you just want to share what you're learning at all or entirely, then we're more than happy for you to do your presentation to the community. And with that, I want to say thank you for attending this week's community call and the last community call of the month of September. And this is where we ended off. See you on the next one.